Go in three, two, one. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Come on in, come in. And I am so excited to have you tonight. Sandy.
Hi, good evening. How are you guys?
Great. We have so much to talk about.
Yes,
I'm
we
really
do.
excited. You can tell I'm like literally chomping at the bit to talk to you about this subject.
I
Um,
can tell.
well, I know I'm kind of like a puppy dog. I'm like gonna jump all over you, Sandy, when you're getting here on the Zoom call because we get to talk about you, yes, of course, but also Don Davis. I mean, this guy, Don Davis, he's a senator in North Carolina, and he was one of the very few to get the first opportunity to vote against the parental rights bill. But the key component, as you know, Sandy, is that a common sense provision in there, a common sense provision is that teachers cannot discuss sexuality with children from K to 3. That's more than common sense. I think it needs to be, period. Government workers should never be discussing sex with children. But this bill would have given parents a notification that their children are being examined by mental health professionals, their children are being talked to about changing their gender. What is going through Don's head to do something like that?
Well, I have to say, I think he's just basically come out of the closet as the full-blown radical that we think he is and who we've known he's been. He is masqueraded and hid behind either his no votes or he's a nice guy. But the vote that he took and voted against the parental rights bill spoke volumes and basically shed light on exactly who he really is. You know, not only did that bill prohibit teachers from talking to children about sex, kindergarten through third grade, but it also said that, you know, school administrators could help the children get drugs, puberty blocker drugs. That's it, without the parents' permission. And to me, I mean, anything that is encouraging parents to have secrets between the kids to have secrets from their parents is a bad idea, and we should definitely be fighting against it. I couldn't believe he voted against it, but not surprised.
Enthusiastically. I mean, Don Davis was in the committee that this bill came out of. And now you're running in District 1 here for U.S. House. I know a little bit about Pitt County, but tell us about the other parts of your district, because I don't think this is going to fly in District 1.
No, it's not going to fly at all. We have 19 counties total. And I would say probably Greenville is probably one of the closest, more liberal areas in the district. The majority of our district is rural conservatives. Even the Democrats that are registered and vote in the first district tend to vote conservative. They do not want their children sexualized at school. They want their children to be taught the basic education of reading, writing, arithmetic. You know, what's really unfortunate is Don Davis rather spend money on sexualizing our children than getting them caught back up to grade level from them shutting down our schools during COVID. I mean, it's horrible, but these folks, they want, cheaper gas prices of available food and cheaper food. They want to make sure their kids are getting an education, and they just want the quiet all-American life, not this drag queen story hour at their corner library. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, they're robbing children of their innocence. Everybody knows that. And that's why nobody on the left wants to talk about it at all. Look, we need to ask Democrats all across this country, whether it's your neighbor or, gosh forbid, your pastor, whoever, get them to answer the following questions. Number one, how exactly does it benefit girls and women to have them compete against boys and men in sports? Number two, why is it that girls and women are not allowed to have their own public bathrooms, public showers now, and public changing areas? And then number three, to your point, why is it, or how will it benefit children and families to expose them to pornography in public schools when we have a literacy crisis that's blowing up in schools all across North Carolina?
Absolutely. Those are excellent questions that every pastor should be able to answer easily. More importantly, anyone running for Congress should be able to answer that. And unfortunately, my opponent won't be able to answer it because he thinks it's okay for men to be in girls' bathrooms, in our locker rooms. They are robbing us women of our rights and the things that we have fought so hard for.
Yes.
These girls, these guys that are now participating in competing against girls on girls sports teams, these girls have trained for years, and now they are being robbed of scholarships. Then we have girls that have gone off to college or even in high school. They go to the locker room to change their clothes, and there is a male, a boy in the locker room, naked, fully exposed, watching, potentially, making everyone very uncomfortable. That is not fair to the girls.
It's obscene. This is what Don Davis supports in our schools. This is actually a kindergarten lesson that we have seen a number of times. Kindergarten, first, second, third grade. This is the type of thing that Don Davis voted for. These are the type of questions, Sandy, that he wants asked in our schools. This is from a 7th grade class, not even a health class. I believe it's a social studies class in Orange County. Questions I have, by the way, for group discussion about my hair, face, chest, body. Why am I changing? Is it okay to kiss someone? What if I don't like my legs, breast, and lips? I got a plastic surgeon for that. Anyway, just saying, I'm joking. But anyway, this is being asked. Listen to this. This is wanting to rat out your friends. My best friend's name is something she does that concerns me. Look at this one, Sandy. My mom's name is, today I would describe my relationship as. I mean, these are the things that the parental rights bill would stop in its tracks. Your opponent wants this, and it's not just him, right? I mean, the Biden administration is pushing this stuff down and tying this to receiving lunch money now, to receiving, in your district, getting free lunch and getting supplemented lunch. That's critical. And Biden is holding us hostage. Don's going to help him.
Absolutely. He's going to say, look, if you don't sexually educate these children and groom them to the standards that they want, then they are going to withhold, the children's lunch money. That's crazy. I mean, some of these children, because, we are a very poor area, and we have a lot of families that depend on those school lunch programs, and to have Don Davis and the Biden administration hold that over their head is horrible. It's ridiculous. And let's call this really what it is. It is a cult. They are trying to destroy the family nucleus. When we have these educators that are trying to keep secrets from the parents and build this secret trust between the child and the teacher or another adult, not the parent. That's a predator. Let's call it what it is, a predator.
Well, now that you mentioned predator, when we talk about grooming, I mean, it is not a word that we made up or you made up. It's actually a term that the FBI instituted long time ago to describe actually getting a victim prepared for victimization. Part of it is using education to do that. And that's kind of what it is. I mean, you wouldn't dare dream of allowing a grown man on a park bench to ask your kids the questions I just showed you that are being asked in a classroom. And yet we're paying for this with our taxpayer dollars, and we're allowing government officials to do this to our children.
And they think it's okay. Say there is that grown man on the park bench. If he happens to be wearing a thong pair of underwear where he's fully exposed, that's supposed to be okay. No, that is disgusting. That person should be arrested. And we talked about the sexual books and stuff that are in these school libraries. I think every faculty member that comes in contact with that piece, with those books, and does not report them as being pornography, as what they are, they should be prosecuted. Not being able to hide behind, well, I'm just the administrator, I'm the secretary, or I'm just a librarian's clerk. No, if it has come across your desk, or if you've seen it and you have not reported it, you are contributing to the sexualization of our children and promoting pornography in our schools.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I will tell you this, that most teachers, almost all teachers, they don't want this. We have more teachers than you can even imagine turning us over information, wanting to be part of the solution. So the teachers and the principals and the administrators we have out there are fantastic. But you're right, there is a tiny minority of evildoers, as Bush would
Mhm.
say, right, that are behind this stuff. And a lot of them happen to be woke librarians, believe it or not. There is the National Association of Librarians and School Librarians. They're pushing all this stuff. And we have some of the most zealous promoters of this stuff happen to be librarians. And you're right, there is a not only a code of decency, I believe there's a couple of laws, right, against giving children pornography or being part of
Mhm.
that. And you're right. Got to have accountability.
Absolutely. And that's why, we need to pass legislations to give whistleblowers protection, because you're 100% right. We have tons of fantastic school teachers and administrators that are absolutely disgusted. Matter of fact, they're leaving, the public sector of public school to go teach elsewhere because of the content that's being allowed in the libraries and in the classroom. So we need to offer them protection, because a lot of them, they have to quietly, sound the alarms. We need somebody who's not, we need to give them the protection so they can speak freely about this.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, to your point, I mean, we have most of the teachers are obviously want to be anonymous. One teacher did not, and she stood up very proudly. She was on Fox News twice talking about not only the grooming, but the CRT in the schools. And her
Mhm.
name is Suter Conrad. And to no surprise, she had to leave teaching in the public school system. Now she's on our board, but, and she helps teachers all day, every day come forward, get the protection they need, and to be able to do this so that there is an extra layer of protection for these teachers. I
Mhm.
think it's going to help us recruit and keep more good teachers.
Absolutely. And majority of the teachers, they just want to educate our children, teach them how to read,
Yeah.
teach them how to write, teach them how to be great Americans.
Yes, yes, teachers have a calling. We appreciate them here every day. And look, I think the bill being rejected by Don Davis, what it does is this: is it when you cannot have open communication between schools, administrators, and parents, it sullies the relationship there, right? There's an
Mhm.
air of mistrust on one side and hostility on the other. And so I think what uh, Don Davis has done, and others like him have, and including the governor, who, in a second he would have vetoed this.
Mhm.
Um, it is what they're doing is they're the ones, as usual, causing the division between these government institutions and the people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we need more transparency, more accountability for everybody. And I think that we're going to be far better off. So I know we only had a few minutes with you because you are extremely busy putting out fires everywhere, igniting the cause of liberty all over your districts. And I have to tell you, out of all the candidates that we've spoken to, you're really one of the only ones that just you let it rip. I mean, you are not even at all bashful about talking about protecting our children.
Thank you so much. Well, I love our children, and these predators, they have to be stopped. And when we have state legislators that are, ass- what do you call it? Assisting with
Enabling.
them, enabling. That was the word I was looking for. Um, that's even more sickening, and we need to stop them as well. We need to send them back to the unemployment line, because they definitely are not doing the work of the people.
No, definitely not. We've got way too much of that in Washington already. We don't need it anymore. So, District 1, I mean, we have a strong champion for our children and for public education in Sandy Smith. And thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Sloan, so much for having me. It was great talking to you. Anytime.